We're breaking down important races that will impact our community.
If I have the opportunity to do anything about it by voting, I might as well.
And as we approach the finish line, we have live team coverage guiding you every step of the way. And here we are. Thank you for joining us on this crucial day for our community and our country. Election Day finally here. Good afternoon, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And I'm Darlene Jones. Today we have a lot to cover. We're bringing you the very latest developments in all of the major national, state, and local races right here in our community. Take a look here. If you haven't already, you have 3 hours just about now to get to the polls to vote. Remember, as long as you're in line by 7, you will be allowed to vote tonight. Yeah, they're not going to cut anybody off. So who is in line right now? Well, let's take a live look. This is from downtown Sanford in Seminole County, where we, of course, have seen lines at the voting office. Right now, it looks pretty smooth sailing as folks are casting their ballot. And Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz will be live from this location for us in just a moment to tell us what he's seeing and hearing. And right now, let's take you inside the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office as teams count your vote in real time. This is a live look at the ballot processing room. This is the first time in Florida history that voters will be able to dial this up and take a look at what is happening. It's a busy place today, Darlene. And you know, they already have some ballots there because of those early votes that have come in already in those mail-in ballots. This afternoon here on Eyewitness News, we are guiding you through every step of the electoral process. We're going to cover the battleground states of the presidential candidates, the ones they need to win a race to the White House, a breakdown of state and local races important to every community here in Central Florida. We're also going over those 6 constitutional amendments that you found on your ballot or that you will find on your ballot, and local voter turnout as the evening unfolds. You can count on Eyewitness News to bring you the latest developments. We have a live team of reporters stationed across Central Florida and throughout the state to guide you through this tonight. Greg?
Yeah, we have really got all the resources for you. Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Donald Trump each need at least 270 electoral votes to win and head to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Harris made her final pitch to voters in Philadelphia last night where she said, quote, "The momentum is on our side," end quote. And right now, Channel 9's Kirsten Garris is joining us live from Washington, D.C. with a breakdown on which states are at play in order for Harris to win.
Good afternoon, Greg. We're talking about those blue wall states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania that are key for Vice President Kamala Harris to win the White House. But one political expert tells me this race will really come down to one state. Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. And that's because when you look at the polling in that state, these candidates are basically tied, and it has the most electoral votes out of all those swing states. So that's why it's so key. And during her short 3-month campaign, Vice President Kamala Harris made several trips to Pennsylvania, more than a dozen during her campaign. And yesterday, she closed out the final day of campaigning with events and rallies in 4 different parts of the state. So why are we focusing so much on Pennsylvania? Well, it's because former President Trump won that state by less than 1 percentage point in 2016. And then he lost to President Joe Biden by about 1 percentage point in 2020. This morning, Vice President Harris spent her morning doing radio interviews with stations across battleground states, urging voters to get out to vote and cast their ballot. And then within the last hour or so, she actually made a stop at the DNC headquarters here in D.C. to do some phone banking. Now, as we watch the results come in later, I asked political science expert Casey Burkett about the potential path to victory for Harris. Take a listen.
It's also the best predictor of how those other blue wall states are going to go. Trump has other paths to victory there, but if Harris wins Pennsylvania, it seems like the writing's on the wall for a very, very narrow victory, but 270 nonetheless.
Now, tonight, the vice president is expected to host an election watch party at her alma mater, Howard University, here in D.C. And during one of her radio interviews earlier today, she said this would really be a full circle moment. And that's because she says her first run for office was actually freshman class representative at Howard University. Now, if she is elected, she'll be the first HBCU graduate to become president. Live in Washington, Kirsten Garris, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Kirsten, thank you. As for the former President Donald Trump, we'll take you live down to, again, the Palm Beach County. That will be just moments away. They're going through a security sweep right now, and so our reporter is going through that process, and we'll bring you that live report. Meantime, let's now head to a database issue. Earlier today, the supervisor of elections in Osceola County reported a statewide database issue delayed voters needing to make a change to their address. There has not been any other reported issues since then. A spokesperson for the Florida Department of State released a statement saying, quote, voting operations have not been impacted in any way. The county supervisor of elections websites are still operable and that the site is encountering record high traffic. Any voter having difficulty utilizing the state courtesy lookup webpage should go to their county webpage. Darlene?
And Greg, we want to give you another live look inside of the Orange County Supervisor of Elections office right now. Take a look. You see all of those election workers there inside. This is where your votes in Orange County are being counted today. Channel 9's Melanie Holt is live from outside of the Supervisor of Elections office there on Cayley Avenue. And Mel, there is a lot of activity there because not only are they counting those ballots inside, but people are also able to vote there.
They are not able to vote at this location. What they can do is drop in a mail-in ballot here, but this is not a voting location. As you can see, all the cars behind us here, those are folks with mail-in ballots that are trying to get them in before 7 p.m. this evening. They're being handed directly here to the Supervisor of Elections office. I'm told if those votes aren't here by 7 p.m. sharp, they do not count. So obviously a lot of folks still trying to get those votes in. And in the last few minutes, I got a chance to speak with the Supervisor of Elections, and he told me that if you are still holding that mail-in ballot, you want to go to your precinct, you've decided to vote in person, you can still go to your precinct, physically surrender that mail-in ballot, and they will allow you to vote in person. But I can tell you, as of about 3 o'clock this afternoon, our last check, 66% of registered voters here in Orange County had cast their ballot, and a good number of folks cast those ballots early, 308,000, outpacing the 2020 election. And we were just inside a few minutes ago. I can tell you that the canvassing board is meeting now to look at those ballots that maybe aren't as clear, where they have to decide what voter intent is for those particular ballots, and they're going to be doing that with those ballots, some provisional ballots as well, over the next several hours. But they are still hopeful that they will start getting some early results earlier into the evening. And after our conversation with the Supervisor of Elections, we're going to bring you some more information that he provided to us this afternoon. But so far, at least, things moving relatively smoothly. There's always something. They've got plenty of voting equipment here if they have to replace anything. But things so far have been moving rather smoothly here. We're live here in Orange County. Melanie Holtz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Mel, that'll be interesting, that full disclosure of the process of all of us being able to watch what happens behind closed doors. Typically, there's just 12 seats inside. Many residents in Seminole County, meantime, are making their voices heard, heading to the polls to cast their ballot. And let's get more on that with Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz. He is live from a polling office in the county. Gio, how busy have you seen it there today?
Hey Greg, we are here outside the Sanford Civic Center in downtown Sanford. You can tell things are going fairly smoothly out here in Seminole County right now. No lines here. People have been able to go in and out of this polling location fairly quickly. Here in Seminole County, more than 68% of registered voters have already cast their ballots. That's more than 135,000 people. Most of them have voted early. About 57% of the voters here in Seminole County have voted early this time around. This is all according to the Supervisor of Elections. Now, one of the big questions on the ballot here for voters in Seminole County is if the county should or should not renew the current penny sales taxes until 2034. That measure was first approved over 30 years ago, back in 1991. That basically means 1 penny on the dollar generated here in the county will be used for infrastructure projects and public education improvements. Since 1991, this tax that we are talking about here generated over about $2 billion across the county. Now, this polling location here back live will remain open until 7 p.m. today, just like all the other 80-plus locations here in Seminole County. Reporting in downtown Sanford, I'm Giovanni Diaz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Gio, thorough report there, but I do have one more question if I could. We have about 2 hours and 51 minutes exactly of people needing to be in line. So if you are seeing people come out, there are some things that they need to do or keep in mind if they're going to head out there before 7 o'clock.
Yeah, Greg, the main thing you just said right there is the time. Folks should be at the polling location no later than 7 o'clock. Now, keep in mind, if you are in line by 7 o'clock, you will be able to cast your ballot. One more thing you should keep in mind is the location. You are supposed to go to your polling location in your precinct. Also, you must bring a current and valid photo ID with a signature. Now, here's a bonus tip for you. I just cast my ballot for the first time this year, and I had a hard time with the length of the ballot. There's so many questions there, so it's important to do your homework and know exactly what you're going to be voting on, so then when you get there, you actually know what you're going to be encountering, so then you can vote faster, and that way more people can go in and out of the polling locations throughout the evening. That's the latest here in Seminole County. Greg.
All right, Gio, thank you. Darlene?
All right, thanks, Gio and Greg. Today, Volusia County voters can get a ride to a polling site through Vote Ride. Registered voters can enter the promotional code VOTE24, and fees for your ride will be waived to and from the polling location. Vote-trained riders can also get a free ride with a valid Volusia County voter registration card.
Meantime, Lyft and Uber are offering 50% off their rides today. This is all part of their voting access program. Lyft users can also use the code VOTE24 to get a free ride to the polls, while Uber announced it'll offer half off your ride up to $10 for users. And our election night coverage is just getting started. We'll be with you every step of the way. Our live team coverage of Decision 2024 is on WFTV.